certain serial killers seem to become endless sources of intrigue and fascination for the public. One of them is Dennis Rader, the serial killer better known by his self-assigned pseudonym of Bind, Torture, Kill BTK. Rader killed 10 people, including men, women, and children, between 1974 and 1991. In between murders, he lived a remarkably normal-looking outward life with a wife and 2 children. He was perceived by acquaintances to be a pillar in his Wichita, Kansas, community. Inwardly, however, he was secretly satisfying his sexual needs and delaying his compulsion to kill for months and even years at a time by engaging in autoerotic fantasies until the need to commit murder became overwhelming once again. By all accounts, the childhood of Dennis Lynn Rader was normal and unremarkable. He was born on March 9, 1945, in a quiet corner of Kansas, close to where Oklahoma, and Missouri all come together. Rader admits to having killed cats and dogs by hanging and strangling them as a youth. By puberty, he already dreamed of tying girls up and having sex with them. He says that his fantasies were almost like a picture show that he wanted to direct and produce, no matter what the cost. Actress Annette Funicello, a Mouseketeer on the original Mickey Mouse Club TV show in the 1950s, was one of his favorite targets for imaginary bondage. Unceremoniously, he graduated from Wichita Heights High School in the class of 1963. He had a job for a time working in a local grocery store. In the summer of 1966, at the age of 21, Rader joined the U.S. Air Force, probably to avoid being drafted into the Vietnam War. While in the Air Force, Rader would peek through window blinds to watch women undress, and he broke into homes to steal their undergarments. Dennis stalked women as they shopped alone in grocery stores. He planned to hide in the back seat of their cars and kidnap them at gunpoint. He would focus on a good prospect and then enter into his fantasy of bondage, sex, and murder. By 1974, Rader was compelled to act on his obsessive fantasies. He had trained himself how to kill and avoid detection. He had learned to tie knots and nooses. Dennis Rader was ready. Over the next 2 decades, Rader killed 5 more women. His 6th victim was strangled in March 1977 after he locked her 3 young children in the bathroom. Following the death of his next victim in December 1977, Rader grew irritated by the lack of media coverage. In a letter to a local TV station he wrote, "How many people do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention?" The resulting coverage helped set off a panic. Rader then waited 8 years before murdering a neighbor in her home in 1985. He reportedly later took her body to his church, where he photographed her in bondage. A 28-year-old mother of 2 was killed in 1986, and in 1991 Rader committed his last murder, strangling a 62-year-old woman in her secluded home. The cases subsequently went cold. In January 2005, police received a break after recovering a cereal box that included a note in which Rader asked police whether they would be able to trace a floppy disk he wanted to send them. Through a classified ad, law enforcement officials indicated that it would be safe. He then sent them a disk, which the police quickly traced to his church, where he served as president of the congregation. Rader's DNA was then matched to the semen found at the first crime scene. He was arrested in February 2005, and he soon confessed to the crimes and expressed shock that the police had lied to him. In June, Rader pled guilty, and 2 months later he was sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms. Alright folks, for more such interesting videos, make sure you subscribe to Oddity and hit that bell icon too. Adios.